have these polynomials up here, and this is 6.7. We're factoring out the GCF. So that means we're going to divide out the GCF from each term. So the first thing we need to do is find the GCF. So what is the GCF of 4x plus 2? What are both of these divisible by? That would be just 2. So I'm going to divide both of these by 2, and I'm going to put it on the outside of a parentheses. So 4x divided by 2 would be 2x. 2 divided by 2 would be 1. So if we FOILed this or distributed this, we'd get back to 4x plus 2. So whenever it says to factor out, that just means to pull it outside of a parentheses and divide each term by that. So looking over here at this one, what is the GCF? It's always helpful to find that first. Well, it can be 4. All these can be divided by 4. So 4, 4, 4. And do we have any variables that we can pull out? This one has 2u to the squared, u to the first, no u. So I cannot pull any u's out. So I'm going to divide all these terms by 4. So 4u squared divided by 4 would just be u squared. 8u divided by 4 would be just 2u. And then negative 20 divided by 4 would be negative 5. Okay, so my GCF was 4. Down here on this next example, our GCF, well, they're both divisible by 4 because we have 4 divided by 4, 8 divided by 4, so the GCF will be 4. We have a cubed, we just have one a, so we can divide this one by an a to the first and this one by a first, so we just have a. Then we have b squared and we have b, so b is the greatest common factor between them. We only have one factor b, two factors there. So I'm going to factor out a 4ab. Remember, when we divide our variables, we subtract. So this is 4 divided by 4 would just be 1. A cubed divided by a would be a squared, because a to the third minus the 1 would be squared. B squared divided by b, or b to the second, subtract the 1, would just be b, plus 8 divided by 4 would be 2. A divided by a would be 1, or a to the first power, which a to the first power is 0. And then b divided by b would be b to the 0, which is b to the, just be 1. So now we have factored out 4ab times a squared plus a squared times b plus 2. All right, the last example here we have, what's our GCF? What number can be divided into all of these? Well, we can divide negative 6 by 6, but that can't be divided into those. Negative 6 can be divided by 3, that can be divided by 3, and that can be divided by 3. So we put a 3 over here. We have y to the fourth, y to the second, so of those two, y to the second, and then we have y, so it'd just be y. So I'm going to pull out 3y here, and then I'm going to divide each term by this. Negative 6 divided by 3 would be negative 2. Y to the fourth divided by y would be y cubed, plus 9 divided by 3 is 3. Y squared divided by y is y. Negative 12 divided by 3 is negative 4. Y divided by y is just 1. So then we have just factored it. Always double check that you took out the largest, because as these numbers get bigger, sometimes you factor something out and then you might see, oh, there was something else that we could factor out there. Let me see. I have a couple more examples for us. Okay, here we have, what type of polynomial is this? It's a binomial, because this is a product, a plus sign, and a product. So this is two polynomials. Now this could be factored out, but we don't need multiplied out, but we don't need to do that. Remember, we're factoring out GCFs. So we want to know, what can we divide both of these by? Well, we have a 5, and this is times here, r minus 5. Here we have 3t times r minus 5. So both of these terms here have r minus 5. So I can divide out r minus 5. Now, to make sure this stays all grouped together, I put a parentheses around it, and I'm going to put another parentheses to see what's left. So I divide, if I look at this first term, if I divide by r minus 5, what's left is just 5. Okay, so we're done with that one. Now we're moving over here. I'm going to divide this term by r minus 5, and what's left is plus 3t. Now I factored out what was in common of r minus 5. The next time we'll be talking about factoring by grouping, and we will talk about that. That's still 6.7. So I'll see you in a bit with 6.7, factoring by grouping.